Welcome to the House of Hammer, built by the nation for the nation. Welcome to Raider Nation News today. I am your host and your resident tribal chief, Hammer.
Acknowledge me.
Hope everybody's having a great Monday wherever you guys are at. You guys saw the thumbnail. I'm already seeing people in their feelings. Real talk, I don't give a flying how you feel right now. Don't care where you live. Don't care how you feel. It is what it is. We had this conversation yesterday in regards to our officially named starting quarterback in Gardner Minshew II, and we already got people up in arms. I really don't give a shit how you feel about this. Regardless, I digress. Those coming on in, y'all know the routine. Those new in here, let me learn you real quick. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions. Backstage, I got a special guest. It's been a minute since he's been on here with me, and I know you guys love the chemistry that we have when we do these lives together. So without any further ado, let me bring on my brother. Joe Rigo is in the building. What's good, bro?
If you're the tribal chief, I'm Jimmy.
Okay.
Or I'm Jay. I'm Jay. So that's what I'll fuck with it. Hey, glad to be back, man. First of all, before we get in, I want to give love to my guy Adam Johnson, who is the assistant equipment director for the Raiders. He's the manager of the Nevada Little League team, played in the Little League World Series. They just beat Hawaii 3-2 to stay in the winners bracket. So everybody here in Vegas is pulling for the kids from Henderson. So it's good to be back, man. Miss you. Glad to see your face, brother. It's been a while, even though we've been on the phone a lot, but it's great. I got a big smile. Shout out to my guys at the Black Hole too, man. Cisco, Thor, everybody over there, man. I gotta give love to my homeboys over there.
Those that are in the chat right now, just give me a quick thumbs up. I want to know that you guys can hear Joe's audio without any type of issues, any type of echoes. Just give me a quick thumbs up, just so we know, because we don't want to have any type of issues like we did last on Saturday night, which it definitely broke my heart to do that, because I thought that we were going to have a phenomenal production with what I had put together. And I see Big Bro is in the building. Salute to Graf. What up, bro? And salute to one of the dopest names in the nation, Johnny Kicknuts. He said, give me a shout out, Joe.
Yep, that's the guy right there. That's my primo. So I love him to death. Yep.
All right, so I'm getting a thumbs up. I love it. I love it. I love it. I appreciate each and every single one of y'all. And again, whoever my mods are, you guys can let me know, because I don't pay attention to how many people I have in the chat. I never have that up on the screen for me to see. But I see everybody with the thumbs up, so I appreciate each and every single one of y'all. So me and Joe were talking about this yesterday. He came out with a text, and I already see the gifts. Holy shit. You guys are going in. Taino with 50 bombs, 50 gifts. Good God Almighty. I don't know if I can get through all these names, but salute to everybody that is officially now part of the family. And if you want to become a member to the channel, it's the best way to support me and keep the lights on here. The link is pinned at the very top. But again, I digress. I guess short attention span today, but I appreciate y'all being in here. Joe had sent the text yesterday after the announcement of Gardner Minshew officially being named the starting quarterback for Week 1 versus the Los Angeles Chargers. And this is why he's here today. Let's have this conversation, my guy. Tell the nation how you feel. Or do we want to go a little further back?
Let's go further back. Let's go. Let's start as you guys know, or may or may not know, TQ and I own Franchise Sports Media. We're a news agency here in Las Vegas. We're not a blog site. We're not content creators. We're journalists. We're news people. And we are credentialed with the Raiders. So we were down in Costa Mesa for Raiders training camp. And anybody that was down there that was watching, seeing that Gardner Minshew was the lead dog in the race for the starting quarterback job. Hammer, I called you, I think it was after the Wednesday practice down when I was down there.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving back to the IE from Costa Mesa. I was down there, that's where I was staying at with some family. And the thing is Tuesday was the only day that when we were there for like a week, Tuesday was the only day that O'Connell looked better than Minshew. Minshew stacked good day after good day after good day after good day, albeit no one separated themselves from it, but it was still better days than what Aiden O'Connell had done. So I don't think that when we were on the Zoom yesterday and AP was saying, said that he came in and said that Minshew's going to be the starter. I think there's a couple people that were kind of taken back, but I think for the most part, I don't think anybody really covering the team was like overly shocked that that was the case. Let's go back even further than training camp. When they signed him and we did a few shows, you don't sign someone for $15 million guaranteed and him not to ride a bench. Like, that's just financially doesn't make sense. So there's that reason, which is one. There's a probably $12 to $13 million disparity when it comes to what Minshew makes versus what O'Connell makes. Secondly, this AP said it. I think it was AP or Vic. One of them said it. No, take it back. It was JT. I was talking with JT yesterday, and he said, "Look who's playing first. Look at the first 4 games. Like, those are teams that you're probably going to need a veteran guy that knows how to move around the pocket, navigate, and quite frankly, he has a better understanding of the offense. Minshew does, and he can get out and move a little bit. Getsy's offense, you need to be a mobile quarterback. Look at what he had when he was the OC in Green Bay. He had Aaron Rodgers that could get out and move a little bit. He wasn't stone in the pocket. And then he went to Chicago, and I know it's Chicago and the offense was just trash down there. But Justin Fields, trash quarterback, but get out and move around the pocket. So the fit just, again, like, you can't put square pegs in round holes. And for a team that is a quarterback away from being a perennial playoff contender, maybe more, we can get into that a little bit later because we're dropping a clip of what we said on the franchise podcast last week with TQ and myself. It's something I talked to you about a couple of weeks ago. And then look at the numbers in preseason as well. I was at the game Saturday. You look at the numbers, Minshew has more completions, a higher completion percentage, more yardage, and the most important thing, he didn't turn the ball over. So if there was any deciding factor for me, I think it was the consistency. And then, honestly, that first possession in the second half on Saturday night when O'Connell threw that interception, you just can't have that. So I think those are things that led to Gardner Minshew being named the starter. And let's be clear, just because you're named the starter in week 1 don't mean you got to keep that job. And it may not be O'Connell, the person that comes in and takes it down the road.
Let me switch this back. You had a whole shit ton of screen time just now. A salute to everybody in the chat. Now, it's funny that you mentioned the schedule in the first 4 games because at the same time, like, it was pretty much made clear by AP during this press conference yesterday that they thought he was best fit to start the first quarter of the season. So realistically, yeah, you're starting weeks 1 through 4, weeks 1 through 5, but at the same time, you're being evaluated those first few weeks. And if you're winning, and I mean winning over 500, 3-2, 4-1, 3-1, whatever, then cool, your job is safe. But if you're shit in the bed and you're under 500, then it might draw some concerns. Might not necessarily be like, okay, we need to bench him right away, but we need to give it some time. Like, somebody in the chat said, well, Mariota got $19 million guaranteed and he didn't start. And clearly, they looked at it as Carr was better than Mariota. That Mariota was good or was best fit to be a backup at the time. And
Carr was established as a starter. Yeah. Aiden O'Connell was never going to be handed the keys to the kingdom. And let's be clear, being more consistent doesn't mean you were consistent. It means you were more consistent than the person you were going against. Aiden O'Connell was not consistent at all camp. The one thing that he does better than Minshew, the one thing is his arm strength. Right. That's the one thing he does. He can fit some balls through some windows that Minshew can't. But when you look at how a team rallies around somebody, how a guy is from a leadership standpoint, Minshew has those qualities that kind of like teammates gravitate towards. And let's go to the second quarter of the game on Saturday. There's a play that O'Connell had, was a 3rd and I want to say 3, and he had, I think, Wilkinson wide open on this a little out route, and Wilkinson stopped, and he overthrew him by like 4 feet in the air. Like that's pitch and catch. Yeah. Like you can't do that, and those little things add up to losses if you don't do them right. And we've seen a lot of that. And believe me, look, I'm sitting up there with TQ. Like I didn't even go in the press box for the game. We sat in TQ's season seats and kind of were just, enjoying it, kind of like working, but not really working. You know what I mean? Like being able to enjoy a game and before, everything goes in full motion this week for us. And he's not a Minshew fan. And he they both quarterbacks are sorry. They both suck. Like we're working for a long year. And I'll say this, I found it interesting that AP said the first quarter of the season. I tend to think if the Raiders don't get off to a 2-2 start, 3-1, 3-2, if they start off slow, let's say 1-4, 1-3, 2-5, whatever the case may be, I think there's going to be some changes. Not with the coaching staff, obviously, but I think there's things might get shaken up a little bit, only because you can't continue. You can't have the amount of weapons the Raiders have on offense with Devontae, with Jacoby, with Trey Tucker, who we'll talk about a little bit later, the type of camp that he had and what I seen on Saturday with him, in really the last 2 games, with a really good young ascending offensive line. You can have those weapons, the tight end group with Mayer and Bowers, and not have someone get them the ball and keep you in games. Like you have to have someone getting the ball to them and being able to let them make plays. And, I think AP knows like the older player can win it. And if you look at Minshew's numbers in 3 years versus his first 3 years of the 2 years of Trevor Lawrence, I think JT put out a graphic on it. His numbers are better than Trevor Lawrence's. So, I mean, he's never had the opportunity to really have a team that's his team. He goes to Jacksonville, he's a backup. They draft Trevor Lawrence the next year. He goes to Philly, it's Jalen Hurts' team. He goes to the Colts, they draft Anthony Richardson. This is kind of the first time that he's able to potentially and realistically make this team his team as a quarterback.
Yeah.
Would I have liked to have seen one of them separate? Absolutely. I would love to have seen whoever. I don't care, to be honest with you. Either one. I want the Raiders to have a good season. It's funner for me to cover that way.
Right.
Neither one did, but he did just enough to be named the starter at this time.
We have another bomb dropped here by Taino. Another 50 memberships. Another 50, guys. So it's 100 memberships that just went out within the first 20 minutes of this live. Taino, much love, much appreciation. Thank you so much. And those that are not members, if you want to keep the lights on here, the best way to support this channel, please, please, please click the link pinned to the top for the memberships. End of the month, we will get back to doing the giveaways. I'm thinking when it comes to the giveaways, we could do like some type of gift card, or we can do hats. I think jerseys I'm going to do more as raffles whenever I get the chance to get my hands on a couple of them. And just continue to have fun with this. But I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. And again, to those that are in here, thank you. I know there's a lot of people that are in here right now that I don't think I saw over the weekend. But thank you, guys. We hit another milestone Friday night, 9,000 subs. You see it in the top left corner. We're at 9025 right now. Things can only go up. The next goal is 10K. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Joe, we were also talking on my drive home this afternoon about players that stood out. And this is a guy that I've been talking about these first 2 weeks. This is a guy I spoke about yesterday before we got into that presser. Trey Tucker. Give us your thoughts about him.
I'm glad to see him playing well in games because he was he didn't have a good camp at Costa Mesa. Things just weren't going. There's a lot of drops, a lot again inconsistency, and I was disappointed in that because I watch receivers closely, um, and Antonio said at the press conference at the end of minicamp, I think Paul Gutierrez, who that's my big brother right there. Paul asked about the receivers, and he said Devontae's Devontae. He talked about Jacoby being a guy that could be receiver one on a lot of other teams. But then he spoke glowingly about Tucker. Like this guy stayed here all off season, got bigger, stronger, faster, worked on his hands, like he's bought in. And then they go to Costa Mesa, and it was disappointing. So to see him come out against Minnesota and against Dallas and have big games, I thought it was dope. Like to me, I was probably the most happy for him, just because I know how much work he's put in, and I have like huge expectations for him this year. Because I could say this: last year at the Green Bay game, I was in the press box, and I went to grab something to drink, and there's a couple Raiders officials that were at a table. They were eating, and I stopped to talk with them. They're friends, literally they're friends. And I think Tucker had they gave him the ball in a reverse, or they gave him the ball in open space, and he made a play. And they were like, finally, man, we've been waiting on that. They got to get him the ball. They have high expectations for him too. So for Tucker to have the type of game he had on Saturday, and then going back a week further with Minnesota, I was happy for that. I was also happy. I mean, if you look at Tucker, with Minshew, going back to there seems to be a connection with Minshew and Tucker. Like they have a good vibe together. There's something there. And where I was sitting at with TQ for the first half, we were above right where he caught the ball,
right,
on the 47-yarder. And ironically, if Minshew put it closer to the pylon, I think Tucker scores. Mm-hmm. But it was a perfectly placed ball, and it was a great catch by Tucker. So I think he had a really good game. Look, Jack is going to be Jack. I think Jack in the next couple of years is going to be an elite corner. Look, Jacorian Bennett, he has had one hell of a camp. Costa Mesa did him right, and he's carried that on to the preseason games. Right. And he's got the respect of his teammates, the veteran guys. They're around, and you can see that he's earned their respect while we're at camp, watching them move a little bit there. And DJ Glaze, people talk about him. Vinny wrote a really good piece on him about how well he's done. This is a guy that hasn't flinched, and he's gone up against Max. He's gone up against Coons. He's gone up against the big boys, and he hasn't backed down at all. Again, I'm really pleased with what I've seen with the team in terms of the growth. It's all going to go back to consistent quarterback play. And again, if Minshew or O'Connell is the guy for the full season, or if it's somebody else.
Salute to everybody in the chat right now. You guys are really going in today. I feel like we're slowly but surely getting back to where we once were in regards to how many people we have loaded in this chat right now. Christopher Raiders, salute to you on the $10 super. Keeping the lights on us, saying congrats on 9K. Raiders! Coach Judas Gruden. That's another dope-ass name. Hammer, you should turn your mustache into the Minshew stash. Absolutely not. I can't rock that. Once this is gone, it's a problem. I got that little butt chin, that little indent. Nah, I'm good. Never.
Dog, literally last week, I was trimming my goatee, and the clip fell off, and I had to shave it. And I kept my mustache though. I felt so naked, bro. That's why this shit's growing back right now. I was so disappointed. Luckily, it was after the taping of our show. It was the next day, so I got away with it.
Gilbert Barba said going to training camp tomorrow. Nice. I know Graf said that he was supposed to be doing a giveaway. He's got 4 tickets for the open practice at Allegiant this coming Wednesday. Wait, is it Wednesday or is it tomorrow? No, it's tomorrow, right?
Hold on, they sent the email out. I have the email. I haven't even looked at it yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the open practice is tomorrow.
Tuesdays at Elite Stadium 6 to 8,
Okay, yeah.
and then and then Wednesday is normal practice
Okay.
at HQ.
I keep forgetting because I know it was 2 dates. So tomorrow is the other one. So I know he said he had some to give away. I'm not sure if he did it because when I haven't been on, I've pretty much been doing a lot of other things around the house. So like, yeah. And everybody's telling me now it's tomorrow. Snake 2.0 incoming. Oh, I like that. And we're not talking about Jake of the Snake Sports Talk Show. Salute to my bro. The starting and backup O-line. That's a really good question. Let me go with mine. Actually, no. Joe, you're the guest. You go first with that one. Who do you think our starting O-line is going to be?
Miller's got to get that shoulder right. I think the left side's the same. I think really James over to the left is all going to be the same.
Really?
Yeah, for right now, I do think Jackson Powers Johnson. Look, from what I've seen, the one practice, 1 or 2 practices in the game, he's the real deal. He's going to be the real deal. I will say this too. Having Richie Incognito at training camp really helped that offensive line.
Bully squad.
Like, look, I don't agree with some of the things that some of the things that he said. I got a chance to know Richie when they first moved out here during the 2020 and 2021 season.
Mm-hmm.
He would go get therapy and like in injury prevention treatment at my buddy owned a Human Performance Institute, and like 47 Raiders would go there, and Richie was one of them. And I got a chance to sit down and get to know him, and I like him as a person. Like I really rock with him. Like he's a funny dude. I think he kind of got a bad rep with the whole bullying thing. Like, I mean, you're an athlete and it's a rookie and you're also a grown ass man. Like, act like it.
Yeah.
All professional athletes are the same guys in high school that played high school football. They're just bigger, stronger, faster, and a little more angry. But I do think that having Richie there really helped that offensive line and gave them even more of an identity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the only change will be Jackson Powers Johnson. To be honest with you, I think he's gonna be the one. He'll be inserted as a starter week 1. I think he's just, you don't draft the guy in the second round, and his injury wasn't major, so I think he'll be the one to start with him. What you think?
I was happy with Richie, but when it comes to this offensive line, yeah, Miller's a huge concern right now. I'm hoping he'll be there week 1. I hope his shoulder is good, but I'm looking at it as Miller, JPJ if he's ready come week 1, Andre James, Dylan Parham, Thayer Mumford. If Miller's not ready come week 1, you're going to see Mumford kick to the left. You're going to see Glaze at the right tackle. That's what I'm looking at come week 1. And I'm incredibly happy with it.
Yeah, that line isn't bad. And I know there's a lot of people that are concerned with it. I'm not one of them. I think as season goes on, they'll be fine. Look, we had Q on our show a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were talking about it was about a month ago. We were talking about what we seen it before camp and everything. And one of the things that I agree wholeheartedly with him with is the Raiders are going to be successful because they're not going to change who they are. They know who they are. They're a team that's going to be a defensive-minded team that's going to punch you. They're going to come after you. They're going to have that a tough mentality, and they're not going to change who they are no matter who they play. If you look at the Chiefs game in Kansas City in December, the Raiders didn't change who they were. They put Mahomes on his ass. They're hitting hard. They're going after. They were gonna control the clock. Their defense was gonna put them in a position to win the game. The offense just couldn't F it up. Well, every team that beat the Chiefs did the same thing. Go to the Super Bowl when the Niners played them, right? They changed who they were. They got away from running the ball and started passing it more. So I think that's why the Raiders are going to win more games than what people may think, because they're not going to change who they are. Like Justin Herbert's out of his walking boot and he's practicing now. Great. I don't want any excuses when the Raiders go down there and beat their ass week 1. Straight up. That's just how at the end of the day, the Raiders are going to be who they are. They're taking on Antonio Pierce's mindset and image. Good teams do that with their head coaches. And I will say this too. I know there was that little skirmish last week
with
between the backup
Spillane and the center, the undrafted center.
Yeah, I like that because for me, I had concerns when Minshew went down at one of the scrimmages. Max hit Minshew, and no one came to defend Minshew. That's your quarterback. I don't care if it's Max Crosby. I don't care if it's Howie Long. I don't care if it's Greg Townsend. I don't care if it was Chester McLaughlin, God rest his soul. You need to protect your quarterback, and you need to step up. And I was glad that the Raiders were able to do that, and they finally did it. And I think Max was kind of glad too, to be honest, because he don't want no punks on his team. If you're gonna let me keep punking you, I'm gonna keep punking you. Mm-hmm. Well, what does that say when it's somebody else? You're in a street fight at this point, right?
Facts.
So you got to have dudes that you can count on. And I think there was respect that was gained there, and I think that's important.
Max is definitely the type of guy. I would take Max, and I would take Richie Incognito. If I had to go down a dark alley, those guys, I know they would have my back and be ready to scrap no matter what. Like, that would be very interesting, actually. Salute to everybody in the chat. Give me 1 second. I just need to make one quick fix here. If this thing actually allows me to, and it doesn't look like it's going to. Wait. I think I got it now. Yep, we got it. There it is. I don't know what's going on. No floating emojis today. I'm kind of sad because I kind of miss seeing the floating emojis, especially with how crazy you guys can get with them. I don't know why it's not showing on the screen. I did make sure that the link was put in there the correct way and everything, but there's no floating emojis. I kind of missed that today, but it is what it is. Salute to Richard Dushak on the $2 super. Y'all sleepers making the 53 offense and defense. I don't want to say anything until after Saturday night's game against the Niners. I did say Andrews Pete is a guy that I'm very, very concerned about right now. Seeing his play has been very disturbing. We already saw Anthony Brown Jr. got cut over the weekend. Yo, Rob, you're an asshole. I see juice bottle. Yeah, but nothing's floating around. This shit sucks. It is what it is. We're playing a very vanilla preseason. We'll definitely be much more aggressive come regular season. That's why it's dumb to bet. Thank you, Redbone. Somebody sees it the same way I see it. And again, we didn't see Brock Bowers out there. We didn't see Tay out there. We heard Antonio Pierce's lame excuse on that, and you guys heard my thoughts on that after the game, what he said in the post-game press conference. He had a sore foot or whatever the case may be, but we all know that is bullshit. And I really don't care because, look, he's healthy. Realistically, he's healthy. He'll be ready come week 1 when we play the Chargers. But I can't really sit there right now and tell you other guys I think that are going to be gone. Not yet anyways. I think I need to get through Saturday night, and I do believe, I'm pretty sure, none of our starters are playing this coming Saturday night. These are going to be left for the guys that are trying to get jobs. So we'll see how it plays out. We saw Minshew.
I'll give you 2 names offensively that I think have a chance to. I don't know if they're going to stick and see a lot of playing time.
Right.
One of them may be a practice squad guy, but Bradley, the quarterback from South Alabama,
Carter Bradley.
I'll say that he had the best arm and threw the prettiest passes at camp. And even in the game. I would have liked to have seen him get a little more playing time on Saturday, this past Saturday. I like he's got something. There's something about him. I don't know if he's going to be a great. He could be a guy that's a good backup. But there's something to him. And the other is Wilkinson, the receiver. He's always around the ball. He's making plays. With that group with Tay and Jacoby and Tucker and DJ Turner, that fifth one, Wilkinson could be that guy. I really like what the stuff that he has. I'm not concerned about Brock Bowers' foot. Look, Michael Penix has thrown 19 passes.
No. Brock was a healthy scratch. It was Tay that he said had like foot soreness.
Oh yeah, Tay's foot. Yeah, I'm not.
I don't believe it.
I'm not worried about that.
I don't believe it.
I'm not worried about that at all. Like, Tay's going to be fine.
I don't believe it because I think it's just coincidental that when Tay did his presser last week, he said he hadn't played in a preseason game since 2016, which we had somebody that went into the archives and found out that was a lie. He played preseason 2023, played 2019 and 2018. It was the next day or two afterwards where AP had a presser and somebody brought it to his attention of what Tay said previously in the presser and was like, oh, we're going to address that, whatever. I think they just had a conversation and it's like, look, we need you for the season. You don't got to be out there tonight. That's it. Like, but then he comes to the podium after the game and they asked him about it. Oh yeah, little foot soreness. I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, we know what's up. He was out there. He was out there on the sideline. He was chilling. Like, it is what it is. Like, I don't feel any type of way about it. And what you're saying in regards to Wilkinson, look, AP said he wanted depth when it came to the receiver position. He wanted more legs. He wanted fresh legs. He doesn't want the vets being out there and just being worn down. So they're gonna have a deep depth chart as it goes with the receivers. The running backs, I've told you guys where I see it for us on the depth chart, but obviously I'm still under the belief that the juice box, Dylan Laube, is not getting his fair shake right now in the preseason. Maybe he'll get more reps this coming weekend. But as it stands right now, and we saw these running backs throughout these first 2 weeks, we know Zeus is carrying the load. I'm looking at it right now as it's going to be Zeus, Madison, which I was kind of iffy about with the signing anyways, because in my opinion, he's very, very mid. Amir Abdullah, who I see as a special teams guy, but also as a serviceable third down back. We saw a lot of him out there as a third down back last season. I think Laube will be fourth, unless one of these other two guys that we've had for the last few years come around and beat him for that spot in Britton Brown and Sincere McCormick. But realistically, we know that they don't have a fullback on this team. They have a lot of tight ends. We already saw Brock in the backfield lined up as a fullback a couple times in the Week 1 matchup against the Vikings. I think that Sincere or Britton potentially ends up on the practice squad while one of these other guys does not make the 53-man roster. And I think it might be Britton Brown that doesn't make the 53-man roster. That's just my opinion on that.
I don't disagree with that. What if, I mean, don't you think Mattinson and Abdullah are kind of the same player?
No.
They both have good hands out the backfield. Their speed. I mean, speed-wise.
Amir has better hands, and Amir Abdullah is a little bit more shiftier than Madison. And Madison also has a bit of an injury history as well.
So I think if they wanted to keep four, the one that they're not gonna, Lobby's not gonna be the one that goes. They drafted him. They like him. They liked him a lot at camp.
Yep.
I think they're kind of. I don't think they look. You don't want to showcase exactly what you're gonna do with a player in preseason.
Of course not.
So I think if it came down to it, and if they like McCormick more than, let's say, Madison, they can have a Madison Abdullah, who you're going to take. You take the guy that gives you special teams value.
And that would be Abdullah. Like, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago where I was like, I didn't see Madison being the number 2. But, again, we got to wait and see how they plan on doing this And Los Angeles Raider just said Madison and Abdullah are complete opposites. Yeah.
Exactly what you're going to do with a player in preseason.
I think, yeah, I don't
You
know.
know, so I think if it came down to it, and if they like McCormick more than, let's say, Madison, they can have a Madison Abdullah, who you're going to take. You take the guy that gives you special teams value.
And that would be Abdullah. Like I
Whoa.
talked about it a couple of weeks ago where I was like, I didn't see
What is
Madison
this?
being the number 2. But again, we got to wait and see
Hold
how
on.
they plan on doing this. And Los Angeles Raider just said
Oh.
Madison and Abdullah are complete opposites.
You know
They
what
just
it
said
is?
Madison and Abdullah are complete opposites. Yeah.
Your stream probably.
No, my phone, because I just connected my phone to the live.
There it is.
My bad, guys. I am so sorry for that. Because we
Well,
are we
I
are
don't want to
gonna
hear
inter-
myself no more.
Yeah, we are going to interact with you guys momentarily. And shout out to Demokes in the chat. Luke Getsy's playbook was based on quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers and not Justin Fields type. If Minshew can just in the pocket and go through his first 3 reads, I think we're cooking. We shall see.
Look, Minshew. What I like about him, especially early on in the season, with Miller coming off the shoulder,
Right.
with Jackson Powers Johnson coming off his little hiccup, the fact that he can get out and run, he can get out and scramble and make something happen with his feet. I like that. I believe fully you can't have a quarterback whose feet are just planted in the mud. I like the Dan Marino days of having guys like, or Peyton Manning, where great quarterbacks, 2 of the best ever. I just prefer quarterbacks that can get out and move a little bit, because that escapability can win you some ball games. And there's no Dan Marino or Peyton Manning on this roster, so you're gonna need to have a quarterback that could get out and move a little bit. And look, let's be real about this too. Tom Brady's not going to come through that door and play this football this year. Let's just dispel that right now. You're getting paid way too much from Fox. You're in the final stages of becoming a minority owner in the Raiders with Richard Seymour, and you're going to make money doing that. Way more money doing that than you will playing ball. Now, will you be able to have a say-so and talk with Telesco and MD and Champ and them? Absolutely. But there's no way he's going to walk through that door.
It would be very, very interesting if some wild ass shit like that happened, but I'm not holding my breath, and I'm still waiting. I think we're all still waiting, at least those that are invested right now, as it pertains to the next league meeting and when they're finally going to approve this minority owner stake ship. Like, this has been dragged out way too long. I understand the circumstances that happened earlier in the stages of it, but at this point in time, they should have already did the vote. I know that there's a league meeting next week, and apparently that's also going to address the new kickoff rule. They might change it where the touchback might be the 35 instead of the 30, but we'll find that out, and once we do, we'll bring it out to you. So I'm looking at a career right now for Aiden O'Connell as a starter. He's 5-6 in his career. 62.1 completion percentage, 2,218 yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Let's see about his rush, if he has any, which I don't see any really. They're not showing me rushing yards on here, but he was sacked 24 times for a loss of 173 yards. Okay. So now when it goes to Gardner Minshew, and we know Gardner Minshew's been in the league for quite some time, but this is his stats the last 10 games that he's played. He had a passer rating of 83.4 with 2,118 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. For those at home doing math, that is a 5-to-2 ratio. I'm sorry. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. I apologize for that. So like you can see there where his numbers are better. Again, we know that he's been in the league longer. He also has the experience under his belt in 4 different systems. So let me see if I can pull this up. I'm curious to see what his let I'm curious to see what his overall stats are, at least like when it comes to rushing. Let me find this real quick for you guys.
Like I think at the end of the day, they want someone to stay on time, on schedule.
Oh, yeah, but
When it
here's one thing. Here's one thing I'm not liking because I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, he fumbles. He fumbles.
Exactly. So
He fumbles.
621 rush yards. For his career, he has 5 rushing touchdowns. 31 fumbles, 17 of them lost. That is
Almost a 2-to-1 ratio.
That's also kind of reminding me of a previous quarterback that we let go of not too long ago. That's a little
Look,
that's a little disturbing.
okay, so I'm gonna throw a height, and this is a hypothetical situation or hypothetical scenario. Okay, let's say the Raiders get off to a 4-2 start, and they're winning because of they're winning in spite of the quarterback play. So they're winning defensively, just enough quarterback play to win a ball, not lose a ball game. And let's say there's a certain team that has a quarterback that has a ring that doesn't necessarily see eye to eye with the GM and hasn't for the last year and a half, 2 years. Wants to be paid like Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Jordan Love.
Right.
And he's still in it, he still can play. If you're the Raiders, do you call that team up and say, we'll give you, let's say O'Connell or Minshew, one of them, a 1 and a 2? And let's just say hypothetically that player's name is Matthew Stafford.
That's not happening, bro.
Are you sure about that?
Why would Stafford be traded from the Rams? Is there something that you know?
I just said him and Les Snead have not. And look, this was the talk when I was in LA. Him and Les Snead have not seen eye to eye. All the time of him missing camp this year was basically a holdout. They didn't want to characterize it as that. He wants to get paid. He sees the monies that quarterbacks are getting paid right now. He feels that he can still play. All the retirement talk wasn't coming from his camp. And if it was, it started because of his unhappiness with what's going on in LA. The Rams have a history of turning things around quickly. I'm just telling you what NFL people and I have talked about. It got put into my ear by NFL people. And it's a scenario that was starting as I was down there to be talked about on LA Sports Talk Radio, that Matthew Stafford may want to go to a team that is a potential contender when it comes to making the playoffs, and he could be the deciding factor to be the guy to push them deep into to make a deep playoff run. You look at offensively, the Raiders have weapons. He'll have at least 2 receivers and 2 tight ends that are electric. He'll have another receiver that is ascending, that could be ascending, that can run underneath any ball that's pretty much thrown. On a young offensive line that could be pretty damn good. A defense that can win. He could be the reason. Now, I'm just hypothetical situation. Is that something? Because the Raiders have the money. They're underneath the cap enough to do it. I'm telling you what NFL people and I were talking about.
The thing is, and you know what? The thing is with Stafford, and this is a quarterback that I have highly respected throughout his career just because of how consistent his numbers have been throughout his entire career from Detroit to LA. That's very, very interesting, though. And I see people in here that are just like, wait, what?
Look, this is a shitty quarterback draft. Let's just be honest. There may be a first-round quarterback. There's going to be guys taken in the first round. But there may be a first-round quarterback. And if you want a good one, they're going to be taking their top couple picks. So you're going to have a bad year anyway.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, at his age right now, would be the first quarterback taken in the upcoming draft.
Coach Judas Gruden says, sign Stafford and bring me back. Get out of here. Oh, my God. Stafford does get hurt a lot. I know he's dealing with that. He was dealing with a hamstring injury, but they said he'll be back or he'll be ready come week 1. But Again, this isn't something that
Funny how that works.
this
Huh?
isn't something
Hamstring injury all of a sudden.
this isn't something that's happening, guys. Like, and look, when I'm sitting here doing lives, I don't sit here and create clickbait. So like, please don't take it that way. Like, I had somebody in here before. I guess they saw the thumbnail and they were butthurt. Like, I live in Vegas. Minshew Mania is not running wild in Vegas. It was a thumbnail. I was being funny about it. He's like, oh, don't create like you're doing this for clicks. Like, anybody that's in here, and I know pretty much majority of the people that are in here right now have been following me for the nearly 4 years I've been doing this. Do I sit here and create clickbait? No. And if that's how you really felt, and you know who you are, I'm not even going to call your name out, but if that's how you feel about what I do, unless you can have a setup like this, unless you can have a mic and sit in front of it and do what I do, go somewhere else. You will not be missed. For you to try to accuse me of doing a live for clicks, you're out of your fucking mind. Oops, I dropped an F-bomb, and I right now don't really give a shit. Like, I just don't get how, and these are grown-ass adults. I don't get how soft y'all can be sometimes about shit. Y'all can't take a joke. Y'all are taking it for something completely different.
I live here in Vegas, and Hammer, you did not mean like people going to run around and buy Gardner Minshew mustaches and jerseys. You know, I know what you're saying. I think that right now, in going back to what I was saying, there's not a quarterback out there right now that can come in and play and help the Raiders. Matthew Stafford is a guy who won a Super Bowl, was the reason why the Rams won the Super Bowl, can make every throw on the field, and players and his teammates love. There's not guys, there hasn't been any Detroit team or a Ram team that players dislike Matthew Stafford. This draft, if you draft Shedeur Sanders or Quinn Ewers or the new Newsmeyer, whatever his name is from LSU, those are the three top quarterbacks in this draft. I'm sorry. The only one that I'm somewhat excited about, or maybe could is Ears. I don't think Shedeur's that. I don't think Shedeur's like that, and that's just me. I don't think it's like that. Then you look at the offseason, okay, 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers coming a year off an Achilles that might be available. That went to the Jets, and this is the Jets' only chance to win a Super Bowl and compete for one. And teammates are already kind of bickering about him, and he's got this the Ian O'Connor autobiography came out. That kind of paints him as a selfish individual. Dak Prescott. Look at how much shit Dak Prescott gets for not being able to win a big game.
Yep.
If you were to, let's just say, the Matthew Stafford thing, again, this happens all the time. Around this time of the year, getting into the trade deadline, after the season, NFL people are constantly talking. If you know them, they talk with you. At times, they use you to gauge interest, to put it out, whatever rumor out there, to see how fans or people will react to it. This is something that has been talked about behind the scenes. Hammer, I know we talked about something. Oh, J.J. McCarthy being a top 10 pick.
Yep.
Going higher in the draft than what people thought. We said that. I said that. What, 2 months before the start of the draft?
Yep.
3 months before the draft?
Yep.
Like, this is stuff that gets talked about. And the Stafford thing has been talked about. Tom Telesco didn't come here to lose games. AP's not here to lose games. They're trying to change a culture of not even mediocrity. You heard Josh Jacobs, what he said. That there's a lot of validity in that. With former players over here, they just, we're going to lose anyway. But we're getting paid.
We had that conversation, though, and it was something that, to this day, I will never bring out until the people that actually told me about it do some type of content on it. But for those that were on the whole kick about Josh Jacobs only wanted a bag, You are highly, highly, highly mistaken. I know everything that happened from a lot of various sources. I will never, until one of them bring it out on a live, then I can touch on it. No Diddy. I'm not putting that out there. Forget that. But I'm telling you guys now, for all those that were like, oh, he didn't even give us a proper goodbye. Oh, he just took the money and ran. Dead wrong.
Why does
Dead
he owe
wrong.
anybody a goodbye? When a team cuts a player, do they say, "Hey, well, all right, we want to thank only a certain player"? No players need to tell anybody goodbye. It's not like it's the woman you came out of or the woman that gave birth to your kid and you're going off to work or to school. Like that doesn't matter. Like forget saying a goodbye. And it's a business. At the end of the day, Jacobs did turn down less money from two other teams to go where he went because he wanted to win. And he talked to Keyshawn Nixon, who has an experience with both. And he was on our show during the Super Bowl and said, "Hey, going there changed my life. Not just me on the field, but me as a man." Jacob's seen it. And he said, "You know what? I seen what they came down here and their quarterback didn't play great, but I seen what he did after he played here. And damn, like that may be something I want to do." I don't have a problem with what Jacobs did. But my point is with Stafford, that is something worth wanting. When it's no different than when Carson Palmer retired and Hugh was the head coach. And Mark Davis was like, "We need a quarterback. I'm going to go get Carson." Cool. Is that cool with you, Hugh? Absolutely. And that's what happened. Like those things, these are things that happen on a regular basis in the NFL. I tend to think if the Raiders feel they're close, and I do believe that they feel that they're close, and they get off to a good start, I definitely could see them going the other direction by going and saying, "Hey, is he available? Let's have a conversation." And it may not just be him. You never know who else may end up becoming available after that. Again, I'll put it out there.
Yo,
If
salute. Salute to the good stuff in the chat. Wanting a proper goodbye from a running back on a football team is crazy sus. Thank you. Joe, you up for taking some calls? I think we're
and you
having a
know that,
lot.
bro. I'm with whatever. I'm looking at the time. We got time. I'm with whatever.
I think everybody in here is having a lot of fun with this right now. We've been on for almost an hour. We actually have over 250 in the chat. Like I said, it feels like we're slowly but surely getting back to the normalcy. I'm back, guys. I'm back. The season is weeks away. I'm back. You guys are going to get a lot of content this coming season. You guys know the routine that have been around for the first 3 years. This is year 4 that I'm doing this. But there's going to be a lot of content, that same routine, the things that we do on the daily basis throughout the season. So stay tuned. Shout out to Raider Greats by David on the $5 super. You see what Jacobs looked like when he came in after a holdout? He was totally fat and out of shape. Zamir looked 10 times better the last 4 games. I talked about Zeus a couple of times over the last week in regards to there was a list that a writer from CBS Sports put out there with the top 10 trios, which was 2 receivers, 1 running back around the NFL. And, of course, the Raiders got shafted. They got shafted because of Zeus. Zeus is an up-and-coming back. He's in his 3rd year. He started 4 games last year in the absence of Josh Jacobs. He rushed for over 100 yards in 2 of those 4 games, including 145 total yards on the ground against the Kansas City Chiefs, the best Christmas present ever. I think that he is going to have a very solid year, and he's going to put the rest of the league on notice with his performance, especially if our offensive line stays solid week in and week out. Guys, we are going to open it up. No Diddy. Actually, good stuff. That was Stained, not Creed. But I got you. I know what you were getting at. We're going to open up the vault line because it's been a minute. And I said this yesterday when Antonio Pierce announced who our starting quarterback is. I want to hear new people, man. Don't be shy. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on everything that we've talked about tonight. So, vault line is open. Let's put it on the screen for you guys. 347-471-0361. Call on in and sound off. This show has always been about you guys. This is the best way, besides the chat, to interact during the live and have your voice heard. So call on in, y'all. Chris Rita said, can't call. I'm not going to say the last two words. I'm just going to say no diddy to that, my guy. Mex, what's good? You're a real deal. Know your football elite. That's a fact. She does. She absolutely does. Yeah, multiple. If you take away his stats from that one Charger game, his stats would be garbage. Here we go. This sounds like somebody that's not a Raider fan.
Now, you know what? Look, hold on. You're a believer in Zeus.
I'm a little bit more.
Or you're trust him, or you're hopeful. I'm not taking that route.
I'm more optimistic than I was from what I saw from him in year one. Because year one, and people in here will tell you what I said, his vision or lack thereof scared the fuck out of me in year one.
I'm of this belief.
Okay.
I know that he was hurt at Georgia, and that played a role in him going undrafted. He's got a lot of talent. I think it's a running back by committee for a reason, because that's kind of the way the league is going unless you have a good one.
Oh shit! Hold on. I'm actually gonna have to call someone back right this second, because I guess my phone was on Do Not Disturb. Actually, I'm gonna have to call back two people. Let me call this first person. Damn, my bad, guys.
I just don't share that opinion about Zeus.
Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, y'all know who it is. The resident meathead of Raider Nation, L.A. Rob.
Yeah. Let me talk to you.
Go ahead, bro.
So, a little hyped up right now. Just got out the gym, taking my quote-unquote supplements. Feeling real good right now about where we're at for the season. A lot of people are bitching, complaining, moaning. Look, we've been in worse positions in a quarterback situation. I'm 36 and I've seen it. It's horrible. So right now, I feel pretty good. Now, I think Gardner Minshew could be something special. We haven't had a mobile quarterback like him. He's a gunslinger. Yeah, he has fumbles and stuff like that, but that's what happens. I mean, how many picks did Manning have? How many fumbles did Rodgers have in the beginning of his career?
Right.
So I also do like the idea about Stafford, though. That really intrigued me. So shout out to your co-host there, because that was great. So I think that if it doesn't work with Garner, which I think it might, because remember, we're going off of preseason.
Right.
We're going off of vanilla shit. They're not going to show everything. Tay wasn't out there. You really think they're going to put all their eggs in that basket when they want to go out week one against a proven head coach who can see all that scouted before they go? Maybe they want to throw a little, we weren't sure who our quarterback was. We don't know. They didn't play. Maybe they played that vanilla for a reason, because they want to come out and smack Harbaugh in the mouth week one and shut everybody up saying, the Chargers are back. Chargers are back. Ain't back. And I think that's going to be a big thing, especially with our defense. We have so many weapons,
right,
that we didn't get to run with full bore. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to unleash Minshew on these guys. Now, the thing is, too, is if we do go on the route of, hey, Matt, your career's winding down. We're pretty sure that your coach is going to want to be in broadcasting within the next year or so. You already lost Aaron Donald. How long Cooper Kupp's there, we don't know. But, yeah, and if that was the case, if we tend to bring in Stafford, that could be the new Rich Gannon. Pocket passer. Yeah, pocket passer. Two tight ends.
Better arm. He has a better arm than Rich did. But I like that analogy.
Hey, remember at the end of the day, everybody's like, the Raiders need to get a quarterback that they need to bring up as a rookie and stuff like that. As much as I would love that, which we need to do, what's our history? We've always brought in veterans, Rich Gannon, all these other guys that were more seasoned. We didn't draft them. We didn't develop them. They became and I'm talking pre-Rich. I'm not talking after, because after, I don't want to talk about that, especially with number 4. But
The guy that shall not be named ever again.
Yeet.
But I will acknowledge some of the stuff that he did prior to the leg break. But other than that, I think that we're in a good position. I think everybody needs to chill the fuck out. If you recall my viral call before, they need to chill the fuck out. We're Raider fans. We're fucking emotional. It bothers me. Sometimes I swear to you, sometimes our fan base, like, I feel like they need to go to the kitchen and drink some cranberry juice because they're on that time of the month. They need to relax. So at the end of the day, if you know that movie, shout out to you. So, we're gonna be all right. We got beasts on the defense. We still don't know if we're gonna bring in Gilly. You never know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I like where we're sitting. I feel pretty damn good, especially with the way Pierce has been coaching us when he took over. The team changed completely.
Absolutely.
Right? And now we have a coach that Tay trusts in the offensive coordinator, that he's going to run an offense that's going to be run-centric, but with two tight ends set. Like, we don't have to be bombing it air down the field, but at the same time, Gardner can do that. He can get out the pocket, make something happen to Tay downfield, Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, and we haven't even seen Brock Bowers put up any action. He got, 2 catches?
Yep.
The first preseason game?
Yep.
Imagine a whole game of that. And then if you notice, during this preseason game against the Cowboys, he was locked in on Mayer. So
whether it was either Mayer or Harrison Bryant.
Exactly. So he likes the tight ends.
Yeah.
And especially if you got a tight end that can I get it. But a tight end that could line up in the slot, we can move him around. Yeah. He's gonna be our Kelsey. So, and the dude's not afraid to catch the ball and bang with people.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a good move for us, and I like the fact that we have a quarterback that can get out the pocket and make teams be like, oh shit! Like I like AOC. I was hoping he would win it because I saw some potential in him, but the problem is he's a statue. If we can't keep him safe in the pocket, it's a wrap. He's going to get happy feet just like somebody else that shall not be named. Mm-hmm. But I think that with somebody who can get out the pocket, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, if he starts and does well, we might got Snake 2.0 on our hands. And I'll leave it at that.
We shall see. Bro, always a pleasure. We will definitely talk soon. I'm going to hit the button, but you can do it as well after I do this. But ladies and gentlemen, L.A. Rob.
Yeah!
Yeah!
I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, brother.
Take care.
Jim.
Shout out to our resident meathead, Rob, man.
I remember we did a show. He called him I love his takes. He did another one. Dude's great. Let me say this.
Hold up. Go ahead. I'm gonna whoever the caller is.
Let me say this.
Hold on, dude.
I think.
Hello.
That, go ahead.
Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Crystal Reyes Hammer. How you doing, Joe?
What's going on? How are you?
What up, fam?
You know what? You looking back at AP playing days with the Giants, Manning wasn't an all-star quarterback.
Nope.
But he did know how to win games.
Mm-hmm.
The defense carried him.
Facts.
So it's like, Minshew, okay. AOC, okay. Don't matter how you look at it, we have a hell of a good backup.
And that's what we're all here for.
I can't talk long. I got to go. I'm losing it. But thanks, Hammer. Have a good day.
Take care. That was like the quickest call we've ever gotten, so appreciate that.
I love it. It's like, hey, AP's defense won championships. Quarterback play was solid. We got whoever starts, we have a good backup. I'm out this bitch. I love it. I love it.
That was dope. Guys, the vault line is still open. 347-471-0361. I apologize to the calls that I have missed so far.
Hey, I got to ask you a question, Hammer, before we get to another call.
Go ahead.
So, for the Minnesota game, I went to Thor's house to watch the game, right?
Yep.
He barbecued, and I've already been initiated into his Raider drinking club. Did that last year. Have you ever been initiated in his Raider drinking club?
Yes. What was
Okay.
What was your time?
I did under 2 minutes. I think it was like 115, something like that.
34 seconds, bro. I shit you not.
Hey, I did it. My younger brother got initiated though, and he was lit for the entire night. Like at one point, it was a long night. We pulled over. We had to pull over at one point because he was gonna throw up in the car. This is like at 4 in the morning though.
Is Hammer Raider?
Raider Nation news today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Daniel Friedman. I'm calling from Billings, Montana.
What's going on? Sound off, my guy.
Go check out Guadalajara's in Billings, Montana. Talk to Quan. That's my brother.
Go Raiders. I think with Minshew with his mobility, he's going to be able to use extend plays with his legs. And with our weapons, with Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and Jacoby Myers, Minshew's going to be able to extend plays with his legs, and those weapons are going to have a little more time to get open downfield, and it's going to be very explosive.
As long as this offensive line keeps him standing upwards, I think it's going to take care of itself.
Yeah, we're getting Cole Miller back in LPJ.
Bro, you got to turn down the background. It's kind of loud. I can hear that. I can hear everything.
Okay.
There we go.
I think we're getting Colt Miller back. Yeah, that's going to help our offensive line, and Jackson Power Johnson. I think he's going to be a great player for us.
I'm excited. I'm really excited for that kid because this was somebody that me and Joe had both talked about for a while. We messed around with the mock drafts a while back and was like, hey, why don't you move up to like 19, 20 because that's most likely where he's going to be. And we were fortunate enough that he was not taken in the first round and fell right in our laps. No diddy. The dude is a dog. Like the two colleges I watch, the two college football teams I watch is Oregon and Texas. And watching him on that offensive line, I know that they're going to have him playing guard now, but he's still going to be a beast and a bully on the line. I just really hope that he plays catch up quick enough to be able to be out there as a starter on this offensive line come week 1 against the LA Chargers.
Oh, yeah, I think he will, yeah.
But definitely appreciate the call. I'm going to take a couple more. Appreciate you, man.
I think you have a good one.
You too. All right, I'm going to call someone back. Do not call me right now. I'm going to call somebody back because I feel absolutely horrible that I've missed this person like 4 or 5 times already. And y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. This is one of the best parts of the show if they decide to answer. Ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time. It's time that we bring the heat with Elite. What's good?
Hey, what's going on, Brother Hammer? How you doing?
Good.
Take a deep breath on this one. I got a lot to say, man. I got a lot to say. I've been doing a lot of battling on Twitter. Everybody knows that Elite I was definitely pro Aiden. So to see him not get the job, I didn't like it, but it is what it is. And so I was like, I'm going to support Minshew and all that good shit. Here's the thing I need him to do, though. He has to raise his level of play. Because regardless of what his past numbers was, 62%, all that shit, 3-to-1 turnover ratio, all that shit looks good. But there's a reason why he didn't get over the hump. Not just because they went out and drafted a number 1 pick in Trevor Lawrence, or he went behind Jalen Hurts and shit like this. It's because it's the simple shit. The difference between someone who can make a roster and be a sustaining starting quarterback is you have to do the simple things and on a consistent level, and that's what he lacks. All that throwing around, running around and shit, scrambling and throwing it deep is cute when he makes a play. But the difference between someone who scrambles like a Steve Young, we can go back to Fran Tarkenton, we can go to now to Patrick Mahomes, is that they have consistent pocket play. And what does that equate to? That equates to completion percentage higher than 65% or more. That's what he needs to do. There's a reason AP said that he has to stay on script, okay? Because we have the West Coast offense that's the predominant. All this shit ain't nothing new. contrary to people's belief when it comes to West Coast offense, how it's run, whether it's the Shanahan, all that shit go back to Bill Walsh. That's the shit I grew up watching with the Raiders, and out here being from Oakland, I watched that offense. So that offense is predicated on timing and anticipation throws, and is a death by 1,000 cuts, and then they catch you off guard with a similar formation look that you fall asleep on, and they do a variation out of it, and they go over the top. That's what this dude got to be able to do. He has to raise his level of play. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, because you couldn't even kick ass when it was your time. And Purple Rain, the motherfucker said, kick ass tonight or else. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's averaging right now 48% completion in his 2 games. So you tell me, is it the pressure that got to him? Because they was giving him an opportunity to throw that ball all over the field. And now that I look back in hindsight, I don't think Aiden ever had a chance to be the starting quarterback of this football team. Straight up.
Shit.
Period. He's from the former regime, based on deep dig routes and all that other shit that they like. When you know that McDaniels like to run.
Right.
And so, motherfucker play like Aaron Rodgers then. That's what I want to see. And I'll be your biggest cheerleader.
Yo.
Drop that shit in the bucket then, constantly, and I'll be your biggest fan.
Yo, if I play this sound effect, please don't take offense to it. Are you a fan of Silk Sonic?
I don't know who Silk Sonic is.
Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars?
Oh, the group. Oh, when they formed together.
Yeah,
I listened to some of it.
Don't take offense when I play this sound bite right now. But you're going in right now, so I gotta play this.
This bitch.
You just bring in fire every single time you're in here. Like, holy shit,
man! You know I love this football shit. You know I love it. But it's a passion of mine. Everybody know I know, and sometimes us women get passionate. We go off, you know what I'm saying? And I am, but I am going to root for homeboy. But for real though, he has to raise his level of play. We really, in essence, the Raiders need him to have the best season of his career. And I mean, that's just what it is.
I wholeheartedly,
because that shit he did last season ain't gonna cut it. 15 touchdowns, 9 picks ain't gonna cut it in the AFC West and a top 10 strength of schedule. This ain't the AFC South.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything you're saying, and like I said it yesterday. I don't remember if you were in the live yesterday when AP announced the starter, but like
no, I missed that.
I said it. I do not care who our starter is right now.
Right.
They made the conscious decision between voluntary workouts, between OTAs, between the preseason. It wasn't just the 2 preseason games. Right. This is the guy that they came down to a consensus that this is the quarterback that we feel gives us the best chance to win and win right now. Right. So I'm running with it. I'm rolling with it. Like, this is our team. This is who we need to be supporting right now. And you had people over the course of the last, I'm going to say 36 hours now, that have already been jumping off the ledge. Oh, 0-17, here we come. Oh, tank.
Damn.
Oh, let's do a mock draft. Oh, I can't wait for April. Like, cool.
I'll never do that.
Go find another team to root for then.
Yeah, I never do that. That's not in my nature. I'm not built like that. I ain't built like that. So I would never just give up on the Raiders. I just saying I just have high expectations. If you're going to be able to take the job based on how everybody feels is mediocrity, then you have to raise above the mediocrity here. Right. And I'm talking about raise above your play from last season because you are the guy. So I'm hoping he'll settle down now because that pressure is off as far as the competition. He knows he's the guy 2 weeks going in. They can game plan and tailor for his skill set and the weapons that we have around. And I'm like I said, I'm going to be his biggest cheerleader. But you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But more importantly, man, Colton Miller is the key to this offense, especially if they're not going to put Mumford at left if he doesn't play. Andres Pete, he ain't it.
No,
I know they want him to be the
I don't see him making this roster. I will be stunned if he makes this roster.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm a big Zeus. I believe in Zeus. I remember I heard you say You had questions about his vision, but this is what I always say to people who say, "Well, I question his vision." He didn't have a sample size. He got like 12 or 11 or 12 rushes his rookie year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he didn't have a time to pop. And I like the Y zone. I like the mid zone. You know what I'm saying? So we will have balance. I've seen people flashing. You look so bad. You look so terrible. I mean, remember what the preseason is for? It's evaluation time.
Yep.
They had to evaluate quarterbacks. So guess what? They threw it 40 times, 41 times in 2.5 quarters. They had to.
And they weren't throwing as much in week 1. But this was
Right.
ultimately the time for the two quarterbacks battling for their starting spot to pretty much showcase. That's why you saw the ball aired out a hell of a lot more
Fact.
this past weekend than we did last week against the Minnesota Vikings.
Absolutely. It had to be like that. So Zeus and them ain't got a whole bunch of touches and everything, but I like the way they firing off the ball. Straight up, I like the way Cody Whitehair has played. I gotta say it,
A lot of
like he's
people are
played
talking about
solid.
him right now too. You're like
Yeah.
you're like the third or fourth person I have heard mention him, and he's done a pretty good job so far. Again,
He's done a good job.
it's going to come down to this weekend. We already know the starters are not going to be playing. This
Right.
is it. This is the finale for these guys that are trying to fight for a spot on the 53-man roster. So we'll see how this game goes. I'm not expecting to see any of the starters really from San Fran playing, but we'll see what happens.
Right. And before I get out here, Hammer, just since we're everybody talking about trades and what the ideal trade, here's my fantasy trade.
Okay.
If I could do it for a quarterback, if it had to be, and it's for Josh Allen, and because I'm saying he's been in Buffalo for what, 5 seasons, 6 seasons.
6.
They did 6. They just traded away his number 1 wide receiver, so they're going to be Dalton Kincaid and all that out. And if that team flops, he might want to change his scenery. So that's the only quarterback I would throw major assets to, because they're getting ready to have a new building up there in Buffalo. Maybe they want to reshuffle it. Maybe they want to build a new building to go with a new team, building a new team with their new building on the horizon. Because maybe he ain't it. Maybe they feel he ain't it. And I'm saying, that's the only one I would make.
That would be incredibly interesting.
It really would.
Wow. All right. See, this is where you drop the mic, and
That's it.
that holy shit. Elite, always a pleasure. Let me know
Always.
when you got that camera ready so we can have you live and in living color to do this. Like, you see this.
Okay, no, I got all that ready.
Okay.
You just let me know.
Like,
I'm ready to go. You let me know.
You see the setup that we have tonight with Joe
Yes.
on here. Like,
Yes.
your boy is putting in work. Like, when I do this, I try to be the best of the best when it comes to a production. So whenever you ready, you say the word, and we're gonna start doing this a little bit more, right?
All right, we'll make it happen, Captain. But great show, and we'll go back to listening. Peace.
Thank you. Take care. Again, y'all know who it is. Elite
She's
with the
dope.
heat. Like,
She's dope. Let me wait. I got some news, but let me go ahead and. So, just for the record, O'Connell this preseason 21-29. That comes out to 14.5 attempts per game at a 72.4% clip for 172 yards. Average pass play was 5.9 yards. QBR of 84.3. Now, Minshew, 16-33 for 16.5 attempts per game at a 48.5% clip for 212 yards and a QBR of 79.4. So, again, it's all pretty equal. I think turnovers and the ability to get out the pocket helped Minshew. Now, the Raiders did at least release their official depth chart. So I don't know if you're talking about depth charts earlier, about people who should be where. The starting Raiders offensive line looks like it's going to be this.
Where is this at? Is this the Raiders website?
They sent it to me. When you're in media, they send you the depth chart. We have like they sent out for the week.
Hold
into it.
Hold up. We got to put.
So maybe on their website.
Hold up.
I don't know.
We're gonna put you full FaceTime. Let the nation have this depth chart. Here you go, bro.
All right. So the Raiders depth chart as of today, the 19th, officially Colton Miller, Cody Whitehair, Andre James, Parham and Mumford is the starting offensive line, with Pete backing up Miller, Jackson Powers Johnson backing up Whitehair, Ben Brown backing up James, Meredith backing up Parham, and Glaze backing up Mumford. So there's your ones and twos. Receivers, Adams and Myers, as you know. Backing up Adams is Wilkerson, and then backing up Myers is Tucker, and then DJ Turner. Running back wise, Zahir White, Mattinson, Abdullah, and Lobby. Britton Brown and McCormick are the fifth and sixth string. If you want to say that. And then you have your tight ends, Marin Bowers as co-starters with Bryant and Gentry. Here's what I find interesting now, offensively. Minshew's a starter, O'Connell's the backup. The third string is not Peterman, it's Carter Bradley from South Alabama.
Wow.
I find that interesting.
Okay.
So defensively, Crosby, Jenkins, Wilkins, Kuntz, and Diablo, or those are four. D linemen, Diablo, Spillane, and as your backers, Hobbs, Bennett, Jones, Merrick, and Epps. There's your starters. Wilson is backing up Crosby. Young, Butler, and Robinson are the backups to Jenkins, Wilkins, and Kuntz. Matterson, Eichenberg, Eichenberg, I don't know, I have my glasses on. Devonshire, Richardson, Faison, Polamawa, I always mispronounce his name, and Chris Smith are your backups there. So your kick returners are Abdullah, Turner, and Lobby. Punt returner, Tucker, and Abdullah. That is the ones and the twos for the Raiders as of today. I don't expect the majority of the ones and some of the twos to play this week. I do think Jackson Powers Johnson's going to get time this week just because he needs to get those reps.
Yeah.
Same thing with Glaze, but I don't expect a lot of the other guys. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, if Bradley gets to start at quarterback this week.
We shall see. Guys, we have been on for an hour and a half. We have 234 still in here. Guys, I don't know what y'all are doing, because if you haven't already, y'all need to follow these 3 simple things, especially those new in here. We've already gone up 14 new subs during this live. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell, y'all. Come on. I don't know where that GIF went. Oh, there it is. I'm not repeating it, but come on. Let's get this. It don't cost you nothing to do that. If you guys want to support the channel, keep the lights on here at Raider Nation News Today. Link is pinned to the top. Whoever that Gruden asshat was, I'm not leaving yet, guys. I'm not going anywhere yet. Yo, show some respect to anybody and everybody in here. Male, female, whatever. Be respectful. Like, you've officially been gone. Like, you're banned. Like, that shit that you put up there, that shit ain't gonna fly in here, y'all. Show
what did he do?
Respect.
I can't even see.
He made a really disrespectful comment. Like,
to me?
No, not you.
Oh, to who?
Whoever that Gruden dude was. Like, yo, we don't play that shit in here. Go somewhere else to do that bullshit. Let me see. I'm not done, guys. I'm not done. I see people saying, great show. I appreciate that. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Sarah, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're good. He's gone. He gone. I'll put this up one more time because I see somebody's trying to call in. Let me turn off Do Not Disturb on this end again. My neighbor from the north. There it is right there. 347-471-0361. Salute to everybody in here as well. Did you say McAllister is a returner or no?
Let me pull it back up 1 second.
Junior was good.
No. Abdullah, Turner, and Lobby. And then Tucker and Abdullah as a punt returner. No McAllister.
Here we go. Raider Nation News Today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Blame Canada.
Damn it. Blame Canada. What's up, bro?
What up, Crody?
Taino, no. What's up, bro? Sound off.
What's going on, Hammer? What's going on, Hammer? It's your boy Van City.
Been a minute. Hope you're doing well, man.
Good to see you back, brother. I just wanted to phone and say what's up. It's good to see you back. We missed you. And yeah, I was a little, I think surprised would be the correct word, because I really thought that AOC was going to get the start. But I had data sit on it, and I understand why Minshew is getting the nod. With that being said, I think Minshew is. I think all he needs is an opportunity to get out there and to be the starter. I mean, he's been a perennial backup his entire NFL career.
Yep.
And with the weapons that we have, all he has to do is be serviceable. I mean, we all know this. But I think Getsy, Philman, and I forget the quarterback coach's name, but if they can coach him up the next 3 weeks and coach those dumb decisions out of him. I mean, you've seen the stats, the Trevor Lawrence stats, I don't know what it is, and they call it Minshew magic for a reason, but I'm hopeful that he's going to be able to figure something out here.
Again, we take this week by week. I don't want anybody to ask me questions about mock drafts, about April, and where do you see us going? Like, I am taking this week by week. Right now, I am focused on our next opponent, preseason or not, San Francisco 49ers. Then I will look forward.
Right, man.
Then I will look forward to the Los Angeles Chargers week 1. But right now, it's 1 week at a time. That's it.
And I just want to give a shout out to Joe here, because you and Joe and Hammer, you guys' show, I absolutely love. I was just in a training course at work, but I'm going to be listening to the show on my way to my son's football practice. Yeah, I absolutely, you two as a tandem I think you guys should be doing some more shows, because I don't know what it is. There's just chemistry there between the two of you. And I think everybody would agree with me that you guys are absolute fire on screen. So
for those in the chat, if you agree, give me a thumbs up.
Appreciate it.
Look, we are back. I'm starting to lose my voice all of a sudden. I am back. Like I said, the season's around the corner. Me and Joe did do a lot of talking, and bro, thank you. Thank you for checking on me throughout these last couple of months. Van City, I know you had reached out a couple of times as well. Some of those that are still in the chat reached out to me over the last couple of months, and I appreciate each and every single one of y'all. Me and Joe are going to be doing shows probably once, maybe twice a week throughout the season, as long as he's available, because he's a very, very busy man. He's covering high school football in Vegas. He's covering college football with UNLV, and of course our Raiders and the Aces, and you name it, whatever goes down in Vegas, he's pretty much covering. So when he is available, all he has to do is reach out, and no Diddy. We will do the Hammer and Joe show. That actually sounds pretty dope too. The Hammer and Joe show.
If we set a time, I'm down. I actually took another job on the side with Athlon, covering another NFL franchise, doing some stuff with them too. Look, man, like, the hustle's for real. I'm trying to get like your boy Q, get out there and hustle all that. And then there's some stuff on deck. But yeah, I'm down. I'm down to do a show a week. We just got to for everybody. Yeah.
All right. Van City, appreciate you as always, bro. And again, thank you so much for the continued support. We'll definitely be talking soon, bro.
all right, brother. You guys take care.
Later. Yo, I'm really all of a sudden, like, I feel like I'm losing my voice. I don't know how the hell that happened. I don't think I've yelled. I don't think I've screamed at anybody. Not in a very, very long time. But, yeah, we have done an hour and a half. And this has been a phenomenal live. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We still have over 200 in here. But we're going to wrap it up because I think we've covered just about everything from top to bottom. A lot more than I really even expected for us to cover. But, you know, when Joe's in here, we're all over the place, but we're all over the place in a good way. Like, we always have a lot more to talk about than expected. So on your way out, guys, Again, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions in the house at Hammer built by the nation for the nation. Raider Nation News Today. Joe, let them know before we run out of here where they can find you.
Joe Rigo FSM on all social media, at the franchise LV on all social media. That's also the YouTube channel. Go like, subscribe, and set your notifications to on. We got all kinds of content. We also, for everybody out there in Raider Nation, we have our highlights, 1 minute highlight package from Saturday's game for everybody out there. So you can get that in this field level. And then finally, if you're in Vegas this Friday for the game, the spot to go after the game is Flankers at Mandalay Bay. It's right when you get into the Luxor area. Big night that night. We're hosting the night. Franchises, TQ and myself. DJ Super James, who's Baby Bash's DJ, is DJing it for us. It's going to be a big night there. And if you're out here for the game and can't get in, the place to go is Whiskey's right across the street from Allegiant Stadium. The Black Hole is having their inside tailgate there, and they got Raider-themed food and drinks. Co-kicking with Thor and Cisco and goddamn Adrian. I mean, everybody that's associated with it. So go on in there and have a good time. I'm not going to be – I'll be at Flankers. I got high school football Friday night, so I'm going to be out and about in the city.
So this coming Thursday, and I think we already have this locked in. I'm just I got to schedule it, but it's probably going to be around the same time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific time. We will be joined by another guest, and this is something that should have happened a very long time ago. This is a guy that would reach out from time to time when I first started. Another guy that is a really solid content creator, CG Ruthless, who covers the San Francisco 49ers. He will be on as a special guest this coming Thursday as we do our matchup preview for our preseason finale, days before our preseason finale against the San Francisco 49ers. So stay tuned for that. Continue to stay safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Just because COVID is around doesn't mean you shouldn't always wash your hands and your asses. And as always, win, lose, or tie, Raider Nation till I die. Graph and Wasted will be live momentarily in about 12 minutes to be exact. Make sure to spam that chat and let them know Hammer and Joe sent you. I don't think I'm missing anything else besides, win, lose, or tie. Raider Nation till I die. Till next time, y'all. And of course, as always on my New York, peace, love, and positivity. I'm outro.